And so it was not the most logical, argument, but it was an argument. And the reason why that was important is because foreign governments cannot access our US courts unless they're engaged in commercial activity. In other words, if you're seeking your lost tax revenue or whatever, there's this thing called the revenue rule, which basically draws the line at foreign sovereigns cannot use our courts to extend their foreign policies. But they can use our courts if they're engaged in, commercial activity, and we had that here. Okay, we get 100 and I don't even remember $30 million settlement offer on the table, which is fucking pure insanity at the stage we were at in our firm back then. And I make the rounds, and I'm talking to my crappy Spanish to these like leaders of Colombia, and I'm trying to build a consensus to accept the deal, and I fucking failed. Like not just failed miserably. I think maybe five or six of the governors were on board. The national government was like, "We'll support it if you get a majority of governors," which I couldn't get, and so I had this like contentious meeting with all the clients. And by the way, attorney-client privilege at a government meeting in Colombia where there's like all these it's ridiculous. Like there is no privilege. Okay, so anyway, I'm like, look, guys, you have 800 custodians, and I've got to gather all of their emails. And many of them don't even use their government email. They use like their private email. I've sent whole letters to these people. I have no guarantee they've held anything. I don't think that I can go forward in good faith and represent you in New York federal court without basically drawing sanction motion after sanction motion. I can already see the writing on the wall. That's the defense that these big firm lawyers are going to deploy on behalf of these companies. So in other words, take the fucking money, people. And so they're like, nope, not taking the money. So I had $130 million on the table, which my fee would have been fucking substantial. Let's just put it that way. And so I literally walked away from it. I've said, look, guys, I'm not going to lose my law license to represent you. I do not believe that I can wither the storm. I cannot basically babysit 800 people in another country in another language and have any comfort level that I can honor my obligations to the court. And so I quit. And this opportunistic lawyer from Florida who is Colombian by nationality, speaks much better Spanish than me, thought that this was an opportunity and took the case for me. It is 14 years later now or so, and no fucking settlement, no nothing. The case is gone.
No way.
So I walked away from this deal, which at the time, like, you could get pot committed. You know what I mean? Like I had $500,000 in this case. Like I don't know how much time into it. We went to Colombia over and over and over again. But here's the silver lining in it all. Like the biggest client that I had in the early days of this firm was so impressed by that case and how cool it sounded that he was like, well, you're one crazy fucker, so I'm going to give you like all this cool commercial stuff, which he did give me and kind of built our firm on that client. But I actually think that what sold him was this case. So it's not like I totally lost on it, but I literally like the 500 grand up in smoke, all the time we spent for 2 years gone, and we had to walk away from what would have been a very lucrative settlement. And frankly, it was in the client's best interest. They just wouldn't listen to me.